It's the Weekend Sports Buzz with your hosts, Kelly Patrick, Tyler Bloyd, and Danielle Chilton. 50, the Sports Buzz.
Johnson allegedly headbutted his newlywed wife outside their suburban Miami home. Palm Beach Post reporter Ben Volen says the Dolphins coach last week chastised the receiver over remarks at a news conference. Then in Friday's game,
Johnson dropped a crucial third down catch.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
By the time the league even makes a ruling on this, by the time the court case plays itself out, who knows if Chad Johnson will even have a job with the football team.
Davie, Florida police say Johnson's wife, Evelyn Lozada, confronted him about a receipt she found for a box of condoms. Lozada was treated for a cut to her forehead, police say.
Welcome to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We're here with myself, Kelly Patrick. We got Tyler Bloyd. We do have Bradley Steen in the house with us today to talk some Reds. We also got Mo Egger coming on at, what time do we have Mo on?
10:30.
10:30. So a big get for us to have Mo Egger from Cincinnati, 1530 ESPN in Cincinnati, to talk all things Reds and maybe a little bit of Bengals.
Yeah.
First, I guess, though, what do you guys think of the Chad Johnson story and how that was so eloquently put on the intro? I mean, that's a good story.
It was. Did we clarify? Did they buy the condoms together? Did he buy the condoms? Did she buy the condoms? Who bought those condoms? Anybody know?
No.
I know we and Brad had a great night last night. We don't know. Did you read into it? Because you were very interested about this.
I mean, I just got to get to the bottom of this. I heard on the radio I was listening to last night that he actually was the one who had purchased the condoms and that there was a receipt she found on him. But I also saw a tweet that indicated it would be the other way around. So, I mean, lots of uncertainty. And until Chad gets out of his holding cell, I don't think we're going to get some real concrete answers, which I know is what we all want.
Here's what this article says, and from the Boston.com. They sound legit.
Yeah, they do.
From Boston. Johnson and his wife, Evelyn Lozada, were at dinner, and she confronted him about a receipt she found for a box of condoms, said the police, Davie Police Captain Dale Engel. The argument got heated and continued on the drive home, he said. When they arrived in their driveway, Davie, the 34-year-old Johnson, headbutted Lozada. She told police Lozada, who was in the reality show Basketball Wives, was treated at the hospital for a cut to her forehead.
I wouldn't think that physical altercations would come between Chad Johnson and a woman from Basketball Wives, but apparently I'm
Have either of
surprised
you
on
actually watched that show?
Yes, I have. I really find it entertaining.
Why are they giving these women more money just to be absolutely insane?
Because people like me, I legitimately get a kick out of watching it.
Have you watched it, Brad?
No.
Me neither. I can't watch this stupid stuff. I just can't do it. But you enjoy it.
You guys focus on workaholics, things like that. You don't like stupid stuff.
The funny shows.
The funny shows, not crazy.
Honey Boo Boo.
You don't get a kick out of people.
I don't get a kick of rich people getting richer. That's one thing I don't get a kick
You slept
out of.
with my husband. I'm going to smack you on national TV. You don't think that's funny?
Giant fake boobs. Which
you don't think any of this is funny?
I don't. I mean,
you honestly don't.
If it was nonstop, like smacking each other, I think that might be funny, kind of. But no, it's like what's that one? Bad Girls Club. I've seen that before.
Yeah,
I've seen commercials for that, and it's just like, what?
Well, yeah, I'm excited for Chad Johnson. He's going to be. It's on. Think about it. This is great for Hard Knocks. It's down in Miami. Think about the Hard Knocks episode that's tonight or tomorrow or when is it? Every Sunday. It's every week. So regardless, either this weekend or next weekend, it's going to be a classic little show. Chad Johnson's still in jail. He can't post. He can't get out till we were listening until he sees a judge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get a hearing.
Yeah, and they said unless they wake a judge up on a Sunday, which won't happen, he'll be there till tomorrow until he gets to face that judge. Because obviously he can post bail, so that's kind of a.
I bet he's talking somebody's ear off in that holding cell.
Yeah, right. I bet somebody's talking.
You know, I'm a wide receiver, right?
They know who he is. I would think, and he's from Miami.
I would recognize Chad Johnson at heartbeat.
I ran into Chad Johnson at a Northern Kentucky Waffle House one time, and
nice.
When I first saw him, I knew I recognized him for sure. I thought it was DMX.
I could see the similarities there.
I really did. For some reason, I was convinced it was DMX, and I was like, no, that's Chad Johnson.
Hey, you never know. DMX might show up at a Northern Kentucky Waffle House.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
We bring out the stars.
Yeah, Brad is from Northern Kentucky. If you don't know who Brad is, he's joined us for the third time. What is it, Brad?
Second time on air, third time.
Third there. Yeah, well, we threw him back with Matt that day. Unfortunately, he had to stick
in the
around
dungeon.
For Matt. And in the dungeon, but Brad's our KentuckySports.co Reds rap writer, cardsandcats.com. Does the Cards and Cats, it doesn't go there, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so just KentuckySports.co. Also, ihigh.com/KentuckySports, where we are live video. You can get on there and check it out because we got the picture of the week up right now. Kelly, do you know read off her name for us real quick?
It's a good one.
Yes, it's another good one. If you don't remember, we had the picture of Mike Smith getting licked in the head. He's naked, holding his privates, getting licked in the head by a horse, and ESPN's Zabad mag issues. What's this one, Kelly?
It's tough to top the Mike Smith getting licked in the head by a horse while holding his genitals. Yeah. Ronda Rousey is 25 years old. It says who she is. She is a mixed martial artist, Strikeforce women's bantamweight champion. She's 5'6", 135 pounds. Of straight muscle. And if you're tuning in on iHigh, you can actually see how muscly she really is.
Yeah, she's...
As we do have a picture of her
and
running.
If anybody calls in, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, 384-1450, and you may want to see the Mike Smith picture, we'll hold it up on our video, ihigh.com/KentuckySports. But moving along a little bit here, we do have some events going on today. It's a kind of a packed kind of day of sports. We got the final round, third round wrapping up of the PGA Championship in Kiowa, and then the fourth round obviously getting kicked off right after that. We have Roy McIlroy, -7. He's in the lead. And you got a couple other guys -4, a bunch of guys -3, too. Tiger Woods is -2 with one. He just finished, so he's -2. Unless he birdied that hole, I hope he did. 4 back, 3 back, 5 back, regardless. He's got a shot.
What is this? How old's Rory?
Roy is 20, 21, 20.
What have I heard that if... And how many majors has he won?
1.
Okay.
He won 1. Tiger is -2. He bogeyed.
So when Tiger was 21, how many majors has he won?
When Tiger was 21, how many majors?
Sorry to kind of spring these questions on you and
we'll
spur of the moment.
Now, I wanted to ask you, too, kind of like the NBC Olympics, foobarring that one out with making us watch BMX instead of our basketball team, missing a 100-meter. The PGA is, you have to watch the PGA Championship except for 2 days on TNT. I don't understand that. I know you aren't big golfers. Y'all don't care at all, do you?
I think I play golf once a year.
Yeah, Brad makes fun of golf.
I have never made fun of golf.
I don't know. Do you think don't you think an American PGA Championship all 4 days should be at least be on like TV where you can watch?
I personally am more interested in sports like things basketball? Like that than random Olympic sports.
Yeah, exactly.
Me personally, I'm all for the concept of the Olympics. It's all really cool, but I agree. I like seeing actual sports that I can follow and I know who the people are. Stuff like that is, to me personally, more interesting.
So 2 weeks ago, you guys were bashing me because you said I didn't like the Olympics.
I didn't bash you.
I said I liked the Olympics. I never said I didn't like it.
I'm saying you guys were saying that I didn't like the Olympics.
Uh-huh. I didn't bash you for that.
Well, okay, Kelly.
I didn't.
You get the free pass, but I basically almost said what you just said.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. I don't think Tyler is.
Why?
With
what?
Because you
I'm lost where Brad's going with this one.
You were poking fun at Brad for not following the Olympics as closely, and you poked fun at me. And
so what does this have to do with my PGA talk?
Is that you were asking the question you were saying, because it sounds like you're kind of flip-flopping. And I know that on the Weekend Sports Buzz, no one likes to be called a flip-flopper.
No one is a flip-flopper.
No.
What am I flip-flopping on?
Because now you're taking the stance of the American... This is what we want to watch. We want to watch our sports. We don't need to watch the Olympics.
No, I didn't say that at all. I said, what? Well, you totally just put words in my mouth. So shut up. I didn't say that at all. I said, we want to watch our tournament, the PGA Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it's not on Channel 6.
It's on right
Put
now.
it on all 4 days is what I'm saying. Put it on ESPN all 4 days like the British was, where we can watch it. You couldn't watch the first 2 days. It wasn't even on the Golf Channel. Why have a Golf Channel?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't saying take off the Olympics and put on golf.
Okay.
So you are both totally wrong there.
Whatever.
Noobs.
But what I do have is a score update for Team USA. They're playing in the gold against Spain today.
Did it just kick off?
It is 22-16 right now, and they just showed a stat. Who? It is America.
Okay.
They are winning. Navarro has scored 12 of the 16 points for Spain. So it seems like right now they're shutting down the Gasol brothers.
Let's see. I've got a little stats for Kelly asked about the majors. Is that give the website out for all the people because they can't watch it on TV, of course.
Yeah, since you can't watch it on TV, you can go to thefirtrow.eu and you can click on the basketball link and it should come up. But you gotta sit through like 40 pop-ups.
There you go. So get on to check it out. You asked me about Tigers majors. I got them right here. I know, obviously, he's won 14. We don't have to get into that, but he won in 1999. He's won 3 in 2000 when that was, the Tiger Slam. He also won one in 1997.
That's what I was going to say. Is that he was 22 at that point.
It wasn't at 97.
He was born in 75.
Okay.
So Rory, if he were to win this, he'd be ahead of Tiger's pace as far as age goes.
It would be. Rory McIlroy has been the guy that people are saying. He could be the next type of big dominant golfer. He's came up 2-3 years ago. So it's just, I like Roy. I'm a Tiger guy regardless. I'm always going Team Tiger. I like Roy. He's a good golfer. We're getting to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line right now. Let's go ahead and jump to it, Matt. Tony's on the line. How you doing today?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Nothing much. Another great day.
Question.
Go ahead.
My question about the Chad Johnson thing is this. If a woman marries a man for money, or, fame, status, it's all really money for real. But my thing is, if she marries you for money, can't she really be upset if you cheat on her? That's a business arrangement.
I kind of would agree with you, Tony. I feel like most of the...
I ain't saying he's right for... I'm not saying he's right for headbutting, but I'm wondering, that is my question. I would like people to answer this. If she marries you, woman marries you clearly for money,
Gold digger.
I'll let the married
Kelly
take this.
And if you've seen the show, she is that. So I'm wondering, can she really get mad? Does she even have a right to get mad if you cheat on her?
I can go with that.
Tony, I think you make it. You make a good point. I think it should be like kind of a mutual agreement in all of those marriages, kind of like the Andre Kirilenko marriage.
But isn't that taking away the whole thing of religion? Or I'm sorry, marriage.
No,
you're marrying someone because you're supposed to, I guess, in their sense, quote unquote, love each other.
Yeah.
It depends. There's a different, if your fame and your claim to fame is that you were on Basketball Wives, and who did he marry before? Was it Antoine Walker?
Thanks for the call.
I'm sorry, who did she marry before she married Chad?
I think you're correct.
I think it was Antoine Walker.
Sure
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So if your claim to fame is that you married an NBA player who is now broke because of all the poor things he did with his $100 million, I can go with Tony completely on that. If that's your claim to fame, let me look it up.
I agree with Tony. He didn't do the right thing by giving her a solid Zinedine Zidane headbutt from the World Cup. He nailed her. He's in the slammer for 2 days. But I don't know. It's like I was bringing up the Andre. Do you all know what I'm talking about? The Andre Kirilenko deal.
Except his wife's famous too.
Him and his wife have an agreement in the marriage, whatever the license, the agreement.
Oh, that's right.
They can cheat on each other one time a year. It's part of the agreement.
That's in the contract?
It's in the contract.
All right.
See, there should be more contracts like that. Anyways, I know we need to get to this break. Kelly, go ahead and read that real quick.
What are you riding on? Oxmoor Ford Service has rebates up to $80 on a set of Ford tires, including BF Goodrich, Goodyear, Dunlop, Michelin, and more. Servicing all makes and models with a 30-day price guarantee. Call 502-329-8850 for details. That deal is good August 13th through the 19th. Give us a call at 502-384-1450 on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line and let us know what you think about marriage in general.
Yeah.
Chad Johnson, headbutting. If you want to just talk about headbutts, Mike Tyson.
There's MMA headbutts last night.
Anything. You want to talk about the Reds? You want to talk about Rory? Is he better than Tiger Woods?
Yeah, that's a good topic.
Anything.
Shaq and Kobe, we're going to talk about that. Shaq and Dwight, not Shaq, you saying Shaq, Kobe and Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
So, stick with us. It's going to be a good show. And, of course, here in 10 minutes, Mo Egger from 1530 Cincinnati. So stick with us, the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
We're back at the Weekend Sports Buzz. We've got a good little kickoff to the show there, talking a little bit Chad Johnson headbutting. Got our picture of the week out there on ihigh.com/KentuckySports. She's a cutie. Get on there and check it out. We got live video of all of our beautiful faces in here. Brad Steen's joining us from Northern Kentucky, and of course myself, Tyler Boyd, with Kelly Patrick every Sunday, 10 to noon. We're excited. And before we do get into this segment, I believe we're getting on our man Mo Egger on the line from 1530, Brad, Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, ESPN 1530.
Good. He's going to talk about the Reds, maybe a little bit of Bengals. We got their scrimmages, preseason games just now going. For
fake
Bengals.
Football.
Little Bengal football. My Brownies are 1-0 in the preseason. What you know about that, guys? What you know about that, Brad?
Hey, you know what?
Hey, Brad, let me throw this out there. Brad's a Bengals fan. Kelly's a Bengals fan. I'm a Browns fan. We've won a playoff game in the last 2 decades at least. I will say that.
Oh.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Good job, Bengals. Y'all made the playoffs.
You can.
Next Sunday, Kelly, we got something awesome. We're going to kick Brad out of the studio, and we're going to replace him with a 2-time champion. If you want to let the people know who's coming in.
4-time, I would argue, 4-time champion.
4-time.
Orange Bowl, Super Bowl,
yeah.
Indiana Gold Gloves heavyweight champion, and the ringside ultra heavyweight champion. So the amateur champion in the country for the ultra heavyweight division.
Earl Heyman. He's coming on, former Ballard, prodigy. He was, like Kelly said, Orange Bowl champ, Super Bowl champ with the Saints. He's got his belt. If you want to see an awesome picture of Earl in his hat, Indiana State Championship hat and his awesome belt, get on KentuckySports.co. It's right there on the front page, I believe. He's coming in. It's going to be a great 2-hour show next
He'll
Sunday.
actually be in the studio with us.
Yeah, it is.
And so, I mean, you never know what to expect. Good stuff. Great guy.
Some good guests coming on. We won't let you know who because we don't know for sure yet, but there'll be some good guests coming on as well, and it's going to be a great show. I can't wait.
I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, it's going to be great, Brad. You better not miss this. He didn't know who he was, but he is from Northern Kentucky, so it's okay.
Yeah.
He's a cat. He's a cat fan.
Very highly touted recruit when he signed with Louisville, actually. Earl was a very, prestigious guy to keep in city, which we're trying to do, now with James Quick, hoping we don't strike out on all three Trinity guys.
We're going to talk a lot about Kentucky and Louisville, hopefully a little bit more in the second hour, because I want to get your take on the schedule, and Brad's on the UK schedule, because obviously I had mine with Mark yesterday, so I want to get yours in point. But because we are leading into our man Mo Egger here in just a moment, let's talk a little bit about the Reds pregame and for Mo. They are now sitting, Brad, what's the record sitting at here? I had it on here.
I think they're 21 games over 500.
Somebody deleted it. Appreciate it, guys.
See what happens?
See what happens when we let other people join our stuff.
I know. Sorry, guys. Let's see here.
Well, regardless, they're about 24 games over 500. I believe they're at 68 wins, if I'm correct.
4.5 up on the Pirates.
4.5 up now. Pirates now have lost 3 in a row. So basically, that 5-game losing streak, it's like it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
It's gone. The Reds are rolling. I'm excited. My first question for you two can any team in the National League win against this team in a best-of-7 series? In my honest opinion, not because I'm a diehard Reds fan, I don't see it happening.
I think there are teams, if you look at possibly San Francisco or L.A., they're a team that could give the Reds problems. I mean, how
one of those teams aren't even going to make it.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying either or. If either team makes it. I mean, if you look at the Dodgers, they went out west. The Reds went out west a couple weeks ago, and they lost 2 or 3 to them. I mean, and they're only getting better. They just acquired Hanley Ramirez, and I think
didn't they just go bankrupt?
Greinke?
Yeah,
I wish I could go.
That was the Angels.
Yeah, it was the Angels.
Oh, that's right.
They picked up. You're correct, Hanley Ramirez, and they also got the pitcher.
From the Cubs. Dempster.
Yeah, Ryan Dempster. I like how you joined the Dempster bandwagon, Kelly.
What I don't like about Ryan Dempster is he wasn't that good when he was a Red.
Ryan Dempster.
He had some good years.
Exactly.
He had a good season, didn't he?
Ryan Dempster. I do not like Ryan
He was
Dempster.
okay. I remember the story about that he was on
Dempster's with the Rangers.
Oh, okay. Is he?
Yeah.
Matt Garza. Are you thinking? Was it Garza that went there?
See.
There was a lot of talks between the Dodgers and Cubs.
We don't care. We're not the Dodgers radio anyways. They're out west.
You guys are leaving out the Nationals though.
Yeah, I was going
to the Nationals are, they're a good team, and every time the Reds play them, they give the Reds problems. So that's a team definitely I'm looking out for. In the Central, there's really nobody that, even if they were to make the wild card, Pittsburgh, we are 6-5 against the Pirates, I think, this year,
which is great.
We still have 6 more games with them, so we have 3 more with them in town, and then we wrap up the year with the Pirates.
Yep. So we got one more against the Cubs, then we got the Mets and the Cubs. But we'll talk about that later because we're going to our Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline right now. Who's got our man from Cincinnati, 15:30 a.m. Reds Wrap, Bengals Wrap. You want to hear about Cincinnati? Listen to this guy, Mo Egger. How are you doing today, Mo? Nothing much. It's another beautiful day here down in Louisville, little Bats country down here, and what we like to call Cincinnati Reds Town.
And you should. Some people in Ohio don't necessarily like that, but it's obviously Reds country, and the Bats have a great organization, awesome place to go watch baseball. Can't top it.
Yeah, for sure. We all three of us, we got our man Brad Steen. He's actually from Northern Kentucky area. He's our Reds Wrap guy. And, of course, myself, Tyler, and Kelly, we're all diehard Reds fans. We love it. We're excited about the season and what's going on. Obviously, there's been some setbacks, and it's not really mattered. The first thing I wanted to get into was this Joey Votto issue. He may have re-injured the knee just slightly, had another small procedure. He should be out 7 to 10 days. Is that a thing we should look at, too, as a problem for the Reds, this reoccurring injury, or we think he'll be okay?
Well, I think if anything, it's offset by the fact that this team has a little cushion right now, up 4.5 on the Pirates. The soft landing of pretty easy schedule the next couple of weeks. Really don't play a winning team aside from the Pirates, Cardinals, and 3 with the Dodgers the rest of the way. I think, though, as you look across the next 3 or 4 weeks, I think they have to ask themselves, can we get by with guys like Gil Cairo and Wilson Valdez getting long innings, logging major innings at the corner positions? They've had to stick one of those 2 guys at third base often this week because Scott Roll's back continues to be a problem. That might be their most recurring injury. And obviously because Joey Votto has continued to be out, they've had to put one of those 2 guys at first base at times when they haven't played Roland and Todd Frazier at the exact same time. I think they feel like the Votto thing, that once he comes back, it's not going to be a major issue. He's still going to be back by probably September the 1st. There's a really good chance before then. They're not in a situation, look, when Joey first went out, everybody was sort of saying the same thing, which was, all right, if they can just sort of stay within striking distance until Joey comes back, if they can stay afloat, tread water, whatever term you want to use, well, they've gained ground. Chances are when Joey comes back, they're at least going to be in striking distance and probably still going to be in first place.
Yes.
And so I think everybody's fear was at this stage they'd be maybe 4 or 5 games out, be spiraling out of control, and there would be a sense of urgency to get them back. And because of the fact that they've played well enough against admittedly some bad teams, that's not necessarily a major issue. I do think it's kind of interesting because for 6 weeks now, the Reds have been insisting that Joey Votto's knee is either not a problem or not serious, and the guy just had his second surgery in less than a month. So I find that kind of curious. But I think long term, they feel pretty good about where they are.
That's a good point. Moving on now, what are what are some of your thoughts about Ryan Ludwig? This guy was left for dead in San Diego and Pittsburgh. The Reds took a chance on him because Jocketty had some experience with him. Has he been sort of some of the biggest surprise for the Reds this year, or what are your thoughts about him?
Given the fact that in the first 6 weeks of the season everybody wanted to park him on the bench in favor of Chris Heisey, yeah. You think over the last 4 or 5 weeks, with Jay Bruce not hitting, with Stubbs continuing to be really inconsistent, with Roland being up and down, with Phillips being hurt, and obviously without Joey Votto, I don't know where this team is without Ryan Ludwig. Obviously came through with the big hit yesterday, hit the homer on Friday. He's the kind of guy that if you gave him 550 at bats in a season, it would probably catch up to him. I think they actually use him pretty judiciously, where he's going to start 4, maybe 5 times a week if there's no off day. But he's not going to be a guy who's in there no matter what, day in and day out. And for a guy who's got a little bit of an injury history at 34 years old, I think that everybody recognizes that that's the right approach. But he's very good defensively. He's got an ability, especially playing in Great American Ballpark. He might hit 26, 27 homers this year. And if you look at the fact that the other outfield positions aren't producing right now, I don't know where this offense is without him, and I don't know where this offense is, for that matter, without Todd Frazier.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I remember when Walt Jocketty brought in Ryan Ludwig in the offseason, I talked to him, I turned around my buddy, and I told him, hey, this is a good pickup. I know he struggled, like you said, in the first few months of the season and whatnot, and people wanted him to be benched. But I liked him when he was a Cardinal. Like Brad said, when he was a Padre, I didn't keep up much. But when he was a Cardinal, I really did enjoy him. So I was glad we did get him. And like you said, Todd Frazier, he's just being a great replacement for the old veteran Scott Rowland, himself being injured so much. And that's another thing I want to. When all these guys get healthy, what do we do with Frazier, Heisey, Stubbs, Ludwig? I mean, what do we do with all these guys? Because we'll have Votto at first. I mean, we have the veteran Rowland. Do we want to go with the experience, or do we want to go with the young talent?
Well, I think when Votto comes back, you're looking at the rest of the season. I would imagine that Frazier gets the bulk of the playing time at third base, but not all the playing time at third base. Certainly the fact that they've not had to run Scott Rowland in the ground could bode well for him being ready to contribute in September. The problem is his back continues to bother him. Mm-hmm. You really can't play him more than 3 consecutive games without that happening. And so, I think you're going to see, maybe 2/3 of the starts at third base go to Todd Frazier. I think in the final month of the season or so, when everybody's healthy, I think you'll see Ryan Ludwig play the majority of the playing time. I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do. This team 2 weeks ago admitted publicly that they were looking for a leadoff hitter, whether it would have been Shane Victorino or Jannard Span, Juan Pierre, any number of deals that didn't happen for a variety of reasons. Well, so they're still stuck with Stubbs and Cozart at the top of the order. I think it's going to be interesting to see when Votto comes back, if they finally move Phillips out of the 4 spot, put him in either the 1 or the 2, have Ludwig hit fourth, which I think you can get away with, and get more production from the top of the order. Because if you look at them offensively, that's their biggest problem. 2 guys in Stubbs and Cozart. Starts having a nice rookie season, but he doesn't get on base 30% of the time. Drew Stubbs doesn't get on base 30% of the time. And for a team that outwardly said we're looking for a leadoff hitter, well, if you didn't get a leadoff hitter, then when everybody's healthy, you should probably find somebody else to hit first or second. Brandon Phillips should be that guy. He has been that guy. And with Ryan Ludwig hitting, you've got a good right-handed bat that you could put in the 4-hole between Votto and Bruce. I think if anything else, that to me is what is going to be most interesting to see when Joey finally comes back.
Mo, we have a couple weeks now from the time that we kind of passed up on. Like you said, we were looking for a leadoff hitter. We publicly said we were trying to address that issue, and we got Broxton instead. A lot of excitement for that, really strengthening something that was already the strength of the team. But a couple weeks into it, what are your feelings on the trade deadline that we acquired Broxton?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What are your feelings on how, at the trade deadline, what we did was we acquired Broxton?
Yeah, I think with the Broxton deal, what that was, if anything, it was an acknowledgement that these starting pitchers are probably going to show some regression down the stretch. Homer Bailey has already gone past his career high in innings pitched. Mike Leake is probably going to go 20, maybe 25 innings over his career high in innings pitched. Cueto's going to go over 200 innings for the first time. Matt Latos might go over 200 innings for the first time. And so I think, if anything, what you need is more options to go to earlier in games. And look, Logan Ondrusek is probably going to pitch in more games this year than he ever has. Arredondo is a guy that a year and a half ago had Tommy John surgery. He's probably going to eclipse the 65-game mark. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman is as well. I think the Jonathan Broxton move was an insurance policy and sort of an acknowledgement that we're not going to be able to count on some of these starters to go 7 or 8, that we might have to shorten their innings, and we need another option to go to earlier in the game. Now, early reviews on Jonathan Broxton were great. He came in his first couple of outings, and he was lights out. His next 2, not very good. But I think across the final third of the season, this team's strength clearly is still going to be its bullpen. And if you're Dusty Baker and you're Brian Price, you've got a great luxury in that, in the 7th inning of a close ball game, you could run Marshall out there, you could run Ondrusek out there, you could run Arredondo out there, and now Jonathan Broxton, all while the most dominant pitcher in the game looms in the 9th inning. It gives a manager quite an advantage, and I'm not necessarily worried about what they didn't get offensively, just simply because the asking price was going to be a little bit too high. The Broxton move made sense to me. I think this team's starting pitching is going to have to be a little bit better than it has recently, but at least they've insured themselves against that happening in the final 50 or so games of the season.
Transitioning a little bit into the Bengals, I know you cover the Bengals up there cover the Bengals since I live up there. For those of you who want to follow him on Twitter, it's at MoEgger1530. You can also check out his blog on ESPN1530.com. A Bengals question here: what are your what is the season outlook, and what are some of your thoughts on the first scrimmage that you saw?
Well, my season outlook is honestly, I don't know, because as much as I will allow for the fact that a 9-7 team is supposed to get better, and I love the young nucleus, and I love the fact that this team, for the first time in forever, has been able to spend the off season just solely getting ready for a year and getting ready for the season. Nobody was outwardly demanding a trade. We didn't have to worry about somebody being a distraction. There was no lengthy holdout by anybody. Not a lot of that stuff that we've had to deal with and talk about so often. As a matter of fact, this has been the most boring first 2 weeks of training camp that I can recall, simply because there hasn't been anything other than football to talk about. But their schedule is going to get a lot tougher this year, and they're going to face a bunch of really good quarterbacks. And I come back to something I heard Bill Walsh once say, that he said if you have a second-year quarterback and he plays just as well in year 2 as he does in year 1, you count that as a win. It is sometimes really hard for quarterbacks, and they're going to expand the offense this year. They're going to test out Andy Dalton's arm strength. It's really difficult for good quarterbacks to make that leap in year 2. There just historically has seemed to be a little bit of a roadblock, even for guys who ended up being very, very good. I think they have gotten a little bit better in the backfield. I think they have a lot of guys to sort through to be the number 2 wide receiver, but not many guys with a pedigree. And I still think, aside from Geno Atkins, that the defense lacks a guy who totally keeps the other team's offensive coordinator up all week. Now, they've got a lot of bodies in the secondary, a good mix of youth and veterans. Unfortunately, most of those guys have gotten hurt in the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot they've got to make up for there. I thought the first game of the season, the first preseason game, more than anything, would stood out with the injuries. I mean, they retooled the interior of that offensive line. Travell Wharton, one of the 2 guards they picked up. Obviously, Kevin Zeitler in the second round. Travell Wharton got hurt in the 4th play the other night. Throw in the Malaluga injury, the Dunlap injury. I think more than anything else, they were able to move the ball pretty well. They got the special teams touchdown. Cedric Pierman, who's a backup running back, was very, very impressive. Armand Benz and Brandon Tate, I thought, sort of played to a draw in the competition for that second wideout spot. But the biggest problem after week 1 is your free agent acquisition, and Travell Wharton's probably done for the season. How do you replace him?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, you hit right on, since you brought up the running backs. That was my next question. To Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, obviously he's there for Cedric Benson. I'm a Browns fan. I like Cedric Benson, though, because he was on my fantasy squad and he took me to the title. I had got to go with him. But do you that is a good pickup in your mind, an upgrade?
I don't know if it's a huge upgrade. He's younger and he's more reliable. Cedric had a lot of fumbling issues late last season. Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis has never fumbled in the pros. I don't know that they're necessarily that much better, but I do think it's going to be a little bit easier for them to use all the running backs. I mean, Cedric Benson really believed that the ball should go to him 50 times a game. Right. And I think by the end of the season, Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator, was worn out by Cedric Benson. Not necessarily a bad guy, but a guy that thinks he should get the football every play. And so I think it's going to be a little bit easier for them to use Bernard Scott, Danny Herron if he makes the team, Brian Leonard if he makes the team. I think it's going to be a little bit easier for them to use the other running backs, sort of go a little bit more by committee, because Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, say what you want about him, he's a team guy. I mean, you talk to him and you get the instant impression that this guy has been, fully indoctrinated in the Patriot way. Statistics don't matter all that much. Touches don't matter all that much. All that matters is how do you help the team win. And while Cedric Benson was very good here, and I thought should have gotten MVP votes back in 2009, Cedric was probably a little bit too much about Ced for this team's liking, and Ben Jarvis isn't that way. And so I think, if anything, they're just going to be better because they're going to be able to utilize everybody and not have to worry about their featured back throwing a temper tantrum.
Mo, we really appreciate having you on. Before we let you go, I know that it's a tough question, but what's your prediction for the Bengals' record this season?
I've stuck at 9-7, which is what their record was last year. I think ultimately they might be a better football team. I just don't know that it'll be reflected in the record because their schedule's going to take a major step step forward in difficulty. And I still think, look, we could talk about the window closing between the Bengals and the Steelers and the Bengals and the Ravens. And the word you're hearing around the Bengals right now is stability. Unfortunately for them, they are competing with the two of the teams that you most associate with stability. And so I think it's going to be a good year for the Bengals. I think they're going to challenge for a playoff spot. I think they've got the ingredients to have a second straight winning record for the first time in more than 25 years or more than 22 years. But I just ultimately don't think they're going to be able to overcome some of the quarterbacks they faced this year. And so I see them at 9-7 and not a ton better.
Thanks a lot for coming on, Mo. We'll have to have you on again. We really appreciate it. Yeah, have a good rest of the weekend.
Anytime. No problem, guys. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. We'll be right back with more from 1450 The Sports Buzz and the Weekend Sports Buzz after these messages.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. We got some nice tunes to be brought into there. What do you guys think?
I love Ja Rule. It's
Ja Rule, baby.
It's murder.
Can I do my awesome advertising skills real quick and see if I can pronounce this word correctly this week?
Yes.
We got our man Farrell Elliott coming on in 10 minutes, getting our weekly fantasy football fix. I love it. We're all three in the KFFSC league. It's going to be a heated battle. I'm going and taking it all. Guys, just so you know, Brad's a rookie. I'm not worried about him. Kelly, yeah, I'm not kind of worried about Kelly. He's pretty good, but Brad's a rookie. Anyways, getting to it here. If you're playing fantasy football is all about winning strategy. For winning strategy, when you buy or sell a home, allow Jamie Cox of Simenon Realtors to put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there's never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing results, contact Jamie Cox at 502-593-5454 or at jamiecox.com, and he'll hook you up with some good deals. So check him out. We're excited to have him a part, giving us a good little sponsorship with KFFSC.com. Get on there. We got the draft's coming up 2 weeks from today and yesterday and Friday, August 24th through the 26th up at the Horseshoe Casino. We will be there at the Weekend Sports Buzz Short Bus on Sunday doing our live show there.
Come check us out.
Get there. It's going to be a packed day. I can't wait. How excited are you, Brad? It's your first time, all of our first time in the big event. It's just one of your first big money things, I believe.
This is my first big money thing. I played last year in a little basement league and started out 0-6, and then I ended up, I didn't have a running back. And then I finally got a running back, and I finished up the year 5-3. So
there you go,
5-9 overall.
Not good. That's not going to cut it in the KFFSC. Kelly, how excited are you about this?
Very excited. I really am looking forward to playing into the hype and the enthusiasm into a league like this, where you got to go to the casino to do the draft, and it's a big ordeal. I really like it. I'm excited. I'm not going to make the outlandish claims that I'll win it. All I can say is. You shouldn't take me lightly.
I'm not. I'm kind of worried about you. I know you're a knowledgeable fantasy guy, but I am the defending champion of my league, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to be not an easy out. Looking forward to that. KFFSC.com. You can still register if you want to. You can actually give our man Farrell a shout. He doesn't care. Call his cell phone. I'm going to throw you out his number right now if you want to talk to him about it. You can get signed up. 502-523-5057. That is Farrell Elliott. Give him a call. He'll be on here in just a few minutes. We got the basketball going on, 59-54, America over Spain.
I knew Spain was going to give everything they've got against them.
The Fighting Mark and Pau Gasols. There's Pau right there. We still should win by, I believe, 15 or so, because we're just way too talented.
I think it's going to be a close contested game. I think
we'll find out.
If they win, they're going to win by 7 to 8 points.
It is on the local Wave 3. NBC stepped, or is that Wave 3? Or
NBC.
NBC stepped their game up. They at least put this gold medal match on, considering today's the last day of the Olympics, right?
Yes.
It's the last day of the Olympics. Are you all excited? So, are you kind of tired of the Olympics now? I'm excited about this gold medal basketball game being on the last day. It makes it keep it interesting, but the 2.5 weeks, I'm kind of, I'm over it, I think, now.
Yeah, it's always cool in the beginning when you're like, it's the Olympic Games, and, you only see it every 4 years. Mm-hmm. But now it's kind of like, well, it's the Olympics, and they're still going on.
Yeah, how many? So many times you can watch the dudes in Speedos give each other ass taps. After good job, guy. Too many of those get to me, so I'm kind of over the Olympics. But I'm excited about this. Kelly, are you gonna miss the Olympic Games?
I won't say I'll miss them. I'm not excited to see them go. I don't know. I like the seeing that the final, America's going to have the most golds. They're going to win.
Okay, Kelly, yeah. I was going to bring that up. Not only are we going to have golds, we have the most medals by a long shot going into today. The USA leads in medals, overall medals. Is it not on here as well? What's going on, guys? There's 102 medals 44 golds to China's 87 and 38 going into this morning. We're about to get another one. We just won one in wrestling. I got the text message. So,
America wins.
Pretty sure, Brad, we got this clarification with Kelly's issue of point system.
We're going to win.
We won.
That's
for this year. We won. I like that it was clear
we won
that we
4 years ago.
We did. Yep.
And like 4 years before. And
my only gripe with it is if there was a close. If it comes down to they had more golds, but this country had more medals overall, so the country with more medals overall
country
wins.
With more, yeah, that's how it works.
I know that's how it works. I would have a problem with it being, coming to that. This country had a ton of bronzes. This country had more golds.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. I like that we won.
Like the bronze medalists, they have reserved seats and they're taking pictures of it. That's the Russia.
Well, that's nice.
That's nice.
As long as you guys think a bronze medal is just as good as a gold.
I don't. We've never said
that. We can move on.
We're not saying that.
God, let's get off that. I can't deal with him sometimes. Summer 2016, they'll be heading to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, if I'm correct.
Yes.
It's going to, hopefully, it's only an hour or two different, not too much, so we will get to watch a lot more, hopefully, in 2014.
There won't be any spoiler alerts.
There'll be golf in it. I'm excited about that.
Cool.
Closing
time zone.
Yeah, closing ceremonies tonight. Check it out. I'm sure it'll be going on for 6 hours of big babies' heads and beds and all that crazy, creepy stuff that they had in the first, opening ceremony. A few minutes left here. I love getting today in history and birthdays out there. Today, a guy that shot himself a few years ago, Plaxico Burress' birthday. Plaxico, I wonder if he had bullets in his head. And the guy who Kelly brought up, Twannis himself. It's Antoine Walker's birthday.
Wow.
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Twan. 1996 NCAA national champion with the Kentucky Wildcats. One of my favorite players when he was at UK. I enjoyed watching him hit 4-point shots all day long.
Nailed it.
Now, he has my favorite quote. Antoine, why did you shoot so many threes? Because there are no fours. It's great. That quote and the Mick Cronin quote are my two favorite quotes.
What was the Mick Cronin quote?
I'm the only coach in America that have white guys that can't shoot threes.
Oh, yeah.
That was my second favorite quote.
That was a good quote.
Yeah, I got some good quotes. The Chuck Hayes, Shane Battier quote, that one.
What's that?
Chuck, water covers 3/4 of the world. Chuck Hayes covers the other fourth. He's just, those are my three favorite sport quotes. I want to get to that. Pete Sampras, one of the best tennis players of all time. His birthday today, 1971. And then some history things. Fox Networks began their broadcasting, which is good because we're broadcasting now with our KentuckySports Broadcasting, Kelly. We'll be doing a lot of football games out in Oldham County. Hopefully you can get out there and join me in the color booth and doing some basketball and football. It'll be good. And Babe Ruth, final game at Fenway Park was today, 41,000 plus on hand. Babe Ruth, in your opinion, is he the best baseball player of all time?
He did it on beer and hot dogs.
And he did it on beer and hot dogs.
Barry Bonds did it on steroids.
Yeah. Seriously, we're baseball people. Where do you put Babe Ruth in the history of all-time baseball greats?
You got to say he's
one
the
of
best.
the greatest.
I would say, yeah.
I would rank him up there with Hank Aaron.
I'd put him in top 2-3 easily. Hank Aaron, yeah, definitely Hank Aaron.
But if you're not taking the fact that Barry Bonds was probably on steroids, if you don't care about that, I would argue that Barry's Bonds
up there.
If
you don't mind that he
prime,
cheated, like Pete Rose gets banned for baseball for gambling. He didn't cheat; he just gambled. But Barry Bonds
it's also one of the cardinal sins in baseball.
Yeah, so is shooting steroids up to hit 800 home runs. Okay, that's a cardinal sin. Ask Jeremy and Jason Giambi and their size 50 arms. They're huge. He came out and admitted at least. Barry Bonds, you're just a big baby.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you come out and admit that you did steroids, everyone forgives you. You don't hear. Like you said, Giambi, who came out and admitted it, it's not that big of a deal anymore. He admitted it. But you've got Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds coming out saying, no, I didn't do it. But the facts are there.
Yeah, the multiple sources have said, I've seen him do it. I did it.
You're only digging yourself a bigger grave.
When Andy Pettitte comes out and says, yeah, he did it, I'm going to go ahead on the line and probably believe Andy Pettitte since he admitted he did it himself.
What I have a problem with is the Andy Pettitte admission, actually. And
you have a problem with him admitting?
Yes, the way he admitted it, I do.
Why?
Because he said, I did it this specific time for a 2-week period. That's all I did. And then I was done with it. I don't believe that. I'm like, if you're going to come out and tell me that you did it for seasons.
No, if I'm correct, it was when he had his arm surgery. And he was doing it to rebuild his arm, and he admitted to doing it for 2 weeks to rebuild his arm. I believe it. Call me crazy. It's fine.
I believe he did it, but I would guess similar to A-Rod. Didn't A-Rod admit to something?
A-Rod kind of admitted it, not admitted it. He didn't want to admit it.
I don't like those half-hearted admissions.
I don't
like
half-hearted.
those.
Looks like we got to get a break. The second hour is going to be good. Of course, coming up, Farrell Elliott, KFFSC.com. We're going to talk more Reds, talk Kentucky, Louisville. We're going to get some schedule breakdowns a little bit. 384-1450 on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. Check us out on 1450sportsbuzz.com, KentuckySports.co, CardsandCats.com. All those websites are great contributing sites, UK UofL fans. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline at 384-1450.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz here on 1450 AM. Check us out on 1450thesportsbuzz.com for live video feed of our great show and checking out our great haircuts and morning dews. Check ihigh.com/KentuckySports. Getting to the buzz line in just a moment here. We got our man to talk a little fantasy football. We got a great sponsor we've now added in.
Yeah, we do have our man Farrell Elliott on the line. And speaking of fantasy football, playing fantasy football is all about a winning strategy. For a winning strategy, when you buy or sell a home, allow Jamie Cox of Sim on M Realtors put together a winning game plan for you. With interest rates near an all-time low, there has never been a better time to buy or upgrade. For personal attention, effective marketing and results, contact Jamie Cox at 502-593-5454 or at jamiecox.com.
Yeah, he'll hook you up with some great deals. We appreciate him, being a sponsor with KFFSC.com and Kentucky Sports 1450. Good job, Brad. You got through it.
I was on a roll until you decided to.
I was just ready to smack your thigh if you messed it up.
You were getting ready to load up.
I was ready. No reason. Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz on. Let's jump to it, Matt. We got our man Farrell Elliott on the line. Another beautiful day here in Jeffersonville. Farrell, how are you?
It's always a beautiful day when you're getting ready for football season, guys. And, Tyler, at least our man knows that Jamie is a guy.
I didn't. Nobody informed me this last week, Farrell, so I just, threw me for a loop, and I apologize to Jamie.
I've learned something about that. When it's Jamey, it's a guy.
Okay.
I didn't know that. You're way ahead of me. It took me. I was in my mid-40s before I figured that.
Well, good. I still got 15 for that. Of me. I've still got some time for that. Again, we got Farrell Elliott. He's the man, the president, the greatest fantasy football guy in the planet Earth with KFFSC.com, Kentucky Fantasy Football State Championship. All three of us, Tyler, Kelly, Patrick, Brad Steen, are involved in the tournament that's coming up August 24th through the 26th, Horseshoe Casino. How excited are we, Farrell? We are now 2 weeks away.
We're very excited, and those are very kind words. And we can take that term great and apply it to the event because that's where it belongs. And it's the people that participate that make the event great. We have a wonderful venue at the Horseshoe Casino. We have you guys coming in. You're going to own one of our 228 teams. Actually, all four of you are going to have a team, so that makes it that'll make for some bragging rights and some great conversations as we move forward throughout the regular year. Guys, we're going to 228 teams is our goal. We're not there yet, so we'd like the listeners to call me at 502-523-5057. Go to KFFSC.com, sign up, communicate with me. Let's get you in before it's too late. You don't want to be a wish I had.
Yeah, no doubt. If you're missing out on one hell of a party at the casino. We're all going to be there with, doing our live show. We're thinking we might be able to do the 10-1 leading up to the draft. It's going to be exciting. We're all excited. What should players be doing, Farrell, in the next 2 weeks to preparing themselves?
Excellent. They need to be watching a lot of this preseason football. They need to be looking. They probably already determined, guys, like you have, some of your favorite players. There's been holdovers from last year, guys that you saw that finished strong, players that are in new locales and new situations, which we can talk about later on. But also you should be looking at the schedule. I'll give you guys for instance, our fantasy draft really took a reshuffling this week with the obvious broken clavicle and the injury to Ryan Matthews, the San Diego running back. He was a mid-first rounder in most drafts. Now, he's not going to be back until middle September. How do you look at this player? Now, one of the things about this player, I did not like his season-ending schedule. And that's what you're going to do. In our league, you're going to make the playoffs and hope to win a state title with the grand prize and the trophy and claim the title of state champion. And if you look at Ryan Matthews' schedule, you would see that he's going on the road to places like Pittsburgh and I think the New York Jets at the very end of the year. So he's going to likely be playing in inclement weather on a pass-happy team coming from the West Coast to the East. I don't know if that's the player you can win a championship with. So to answer your question, once you decide the players that you love, let's start looking at their schedule and let's see what they're doing towards the end of the year when you're going to try to be winning it.
Yeah, for sure. It's weird you bring up Ryan Matthews first. He's actually been one of my 2 running backs the past 2 seasons. Obviously, he got hurt early in the season last year. It really shot me in the heart because I was really banking on him. He came. Obviously, he did fine when he was in the field, and obviously it didn't matter. I was still the champion anyways. But I wouldn't say my favorite players are going to be on this team because my favorite player is Tim Couch. He's not going to be there.
Yeah, Tim Couch is not.
Tim Couch is not going to be there. But one quarterback, Farrell, that could be there. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger. You got Tom Brady, for a guy we forgot last week. All the top guys. Where would we want to take or where would Brad, for an example? Because Brad needs all the help he can get.
I do not.
Where does Brad need to take a quarterback?
I do not need help for
Brad needs no help. He's just concentrating on baseball.
Thank you.
It wasn't Brady that we missed last week. It was a more typical player to miss when you start rolling them off your tongue. We mentioned
Alex
Brady.
Smith.
We did not mention Stafford.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
That was my quarterback last year.
There you go.
We didn't. But quarterbacks, see, in our league, the KFFSC, we are giving 4 points per quarterback touchdown, which de-emphasizes the quarterback to the degree that he falls out of the first and sometimes the second round. And then the quarterbacks tend to go off the board. I think there's tremendous depth at quarterback. I think there's guys that will throw for over 30 touchdowns this year that you can get later in the draft. So what I would do is go into the middle rounds, 9, 10, 11, and maybe pick a quarterback back-to-back and have a 2-man committee. Cutler, Roethlisberger, perhaps even Matt Ryan will still be available in the KFFC rounds 8 through 11.
That's an interesting point. I do have a question for you. What about Brandon Whedon? The Browns did take a chance on him. What about him? Would he be a nice backup?
Brad? Is that Brad?
This is Brad.
Brad, let the Browns take a chance on him. Let's not let Brad take a chance.
Oh, I wasn't.
I told you he needed all the help we could get, Farrell.
I was not. That is not true. I'm going to shock the world.
I think Kelly's
got
Brad.
He is a low-end fantasy option at best. He'll not be drafted. He'll be a free agent. He may have a good week here and there. Highly doubtful. If you want to look to a young quarterback, let's look down at Miami and take a flyer on Tannehill, who's at least been in the offensive coordinator's system since he coached him in college. And let's look at the coaching tree, which is another great way to prepare for a fantasy draft, and find players paired up with coaches who want to use them in a different way or have a familiarity with them.
Hey, Farrell, it's Kelly. How you doing?
Kelly.
I don't remember the exact year it was, but everyone at that point had kind of written Randy Moss off. I think maybe it was 08 or 07.
That was 1951.
Everyone had written him off, though. I think I took him in the 4th or 5th round, and he just put together what was arguably the best receiver season. I know that Jerry Rice actually still holds that, I believe, but ever to go, at least on in the fantasy football era. Do you think that's going to happen again? Everybody's writing Moss off. Do you think Moss is in store for just a huge season when nobody's expecting it?
One of the leading fantasy football writers, Lou Tranquilli, and we'll throw Lou's website a plug. It's BFD.com, BFDFantasyFootball.com. Lou has selected Randy Moss as his comeback player of the year. And I don't believe, I'm not going to draft Moss. He's going to be available probably around the 10th round. I'm going to take my shot with wide receivers that are younger. So my answer, personally, no. From a fantasy standpoint, possibly. But I want to see it, and he was very, very quiet in the first game, the first 6 games.
Yeah, for sure. I know we talked about some veterans last week with you, guys you might want to look at. He'd be a great veteran type of guy. I wanted to ask you maybe 2 other veteran receivers. One who just found a new home up, in the northwest portion of the United States, and Terrell Owens. He's joining Seattle, and of course, a guy who made some news last night for headbutting his wife, Chad Johnson.
He's got himself a new home.
He's got himself a new
in the
home.
Dade County Jail.
Dade County Jail. What are your two thoughts, Farrell, of those two guys? Is Terrell Owens worth a look? I actually drafted him, in round 13 or 14 last season, or two years ago, and he was a good contributor for me when I put him in my roster.
These are name guys that these are guys that you will see go in a draft when unprepared drafters have run out of guys to draft, and they don't really know what their next move is, and they'll take a flyer on this player. Owens, both these guys are in intriguing situations. I don't want them on my team because I see too many other good players. I'm not going to say that they can't have significant games, but significant seasons, I don't really think so. In Seattle, I find that move very, very interesting. They also have Braylon Edwards out there. Mm-hmm. They're looking for some answers at that position. I don't think Owens can get it.
Moving on a little bit to some of the running backs, maybe. We talked a little earlier about the Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, Cedric Benson comparison. Would you take a flyer on any of those guys? I know Green Ellis is with the Bengals, and Benson, I think, just signed with the Packers. Would you take a flyer on any of those guys?
Yes. We talked in our very first show, our inaugural show, about Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. And since then, I've warmed to him a very, very slight bit. The ice is beginning to melt around me in regards to that. Based on where he's going, I don't see him to be a value. Someone will take him in about the 8th round. However, Cedric Benson is a much, much different situation because now he's plugged into an offense which is running on a high octane all the time. And if he can get enough touches in that offense, he should be successful with a 5 yards per carry average and do a little bit out of the backfield. And let's face it, guys, the Packers are woeful at running back. They can't keep the guys healthy, and the players have not stepped up to play very well. It's a fascinating signing, a good team selectively choosing a veteran player to move forward, and that's the same thing you could do with your fantasy team.
I think Cedric Benson to the Packers, they couldn't have asked for anything better for what they needed. Obviously, they have the receiving core, they have the quarterback to do it, they got the defense, and I just feel like they haven't had that that go-to number one type of guy in the last maybe since Amon Green. I think it's a great pickup for him. Another question I wanted to get to you for since we are here in Indiana, the Colts. Obviously, they're going to have a down year as well. Just not good enough yet. But what about Austin Collie? Is he going to be better on the outside now?
That's the move that I've been waiting for. Austin Collie is fleet of foot, and unlike most slot receivers who are just quick but can't get separation from the defensive back, Collie does not fit that description. But he's played the slot ever since arriving in Indianapolis. By moving him into the outside position, you can take away that over the middle, and instead of being hit by strong safeties and linebackers, he's actually in a situation now where he can deal with smaller defensive backs in a defensive encounter. So we're looking at what that means is there's less likelihood for him to suffer these concussions, and he won't be such a target, because the guy is physically frail, but he's tough as nails. And now if we just get him out of the zone where he's getting banged by all these bigger defensive players, his chances of completing the season at that position are much stronger. He has the hands, he has the feet to get open. There's no difference between Austin Collie and Victor Cruz except a world-class quarterback, a greater team, and the fact that Collie is actually faster than Cruz. So you're in a situation there where I'm going to call him the poor man's Victor Cruz, and you're looking at, out of that position, you're looking at probably 65 to 75 receptions for Austin Collie, definitely moving him up in the draft.
Yeah, again, Farrell Elliott, KFFSC.com, fantasy football. We got the tournaments coming up at Horseshoe Casino in 2 weekends. We're excited to get there. Farrell, before we let you go here, I wanted to mention the Reds with you. I know you like talking Reds with us. They lost 5 in a row, but now that Pittsburgh's lost 3 in a row, it doesn't even matter. Back up 4.5 games. Are you still as happy as I am with this team?
Get yourself in position, you start winning, and you get a little, just like Austin Collie, get you a little separation.
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't have to be sitting on the edge all the time. I'm excited about the team. Now I'm interested to see when the playoffs start as to what the rotation would be. Who do you guys see as the top 3 pitchers that they would put into playoffs?
That's a great question. We were actually talking about that earlier today, and I think if we went with 3, obviously it would be Latos, Bailey, and Cueto.
That's what I said if we went with 3, too. I had a couple guys, though, kind of say to me Bronson, and I kind of changed my mind. I would go with Bronson, Latos, and Cueto as 3 with Bronson's World Series experience and just being there and throwing a different type of pitcher in the staff. But in my opinion, Farrell, I think they're going to go 4 when they make it to the playoffs. I think they will go throw Homer Bailey, Cueto, Latos, and Bronson.
Well, you've got 3 pitchers there that you don't know what you're going to get every time they go to the mound. Bronson Arroyo, especially depending on the matchup on the road, I think he's perhaps a better pitcher on the road than he is at home. Maybe the stats might say that. I don't know. Is there any way you can start Cueto 3 out of 5 games? That's my
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Pull the Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling effect in Arizona. You just throw them every game. I wish we could do that. That'd be great.
Well, that would be my Reds fantasy if we could do that. Then
no
I would
doubt.
really be excited about the chance.
Farrell, next week, how about you stick on for a good 30 minutes or so leading up to the show, and we get the full breakdown in?
I'll get in training this week, guys, and get ready for you.
Awesome. I'll be excited to talk next week. Then we'll have a full fantasy, 30, 45 minutes with you leading up to the KFFC tournament in 2 weekends. KFFSC.com. Get on there and register and give Farrell a call. What's the number again?
502-523-5057. Don't hesitate. We've got about 10 days to put it together and get the listeners in the league and rookies do well in the league. It'll be the greatest experience I've ever had in fantasy football.
Exactly. So get your team names ready because we're almost there. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We appreciate Farrell for sticking with us, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you, gentlemen.
Always great. I love fantasy football. We're all getting excited. I guess it's time, guys, that we start getting into it. Fantasy football. What's here? I mean, we got to start dissecting this stuff now.
It's here. I'm ready. Bring it on. You're going down.
You're already.
I don't want to show my I'll tell you guys some fake stuff that I'm thinking. I'm not going to give my actual strategy to people I'll be competing with.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us the fake news.
Michael Vick in the first round.
Oh, nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of sounds real, though, from you. Anyways, we got to go to a break. If you want to give us a shout on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, please do so. We would love to hear from you. And get on livingforless.org. They're our great leader. They power us. They have great 50% off deals at golf courses, foods, roosters, Wicks. There's a bunch of good stuff on there, so check it out. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz alongside Tyler Bloyd and Kelly Patrick. I am Brad Steen, joining everyone in studio today. Was that loud?
No, it was enthusiastic.
Hey,
welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz.
I've been practicing that one in the studio.
Hey, look at that. Brad just put his name out there and only his.
No, I said welcome back.
I'm joking. I just like to mess with Brad. Brad's great on our website.
Speaking of great, Spain has given USA everything.
Speaking of great.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of doo-doo, Spain is beating the Americans right now. Is it tied? Now it is. Move your hand. Tied. Buckets.
So tie ball game because Spain is good.
I know they're good, but when you compare yourself to the 92 and say you can beat them, you don't lose to Spain.
And I agree with that.
Okay.
But I don't think they're going to.
And now that's past us, come on, America. It's 80-80 with a little over a minute in the third. 83-80. We had a 3-ball there. Kevin Durant almost dunked on a dude earlier.
That was nasty.
It's on local channels, so turn it on. You can watch this gold medal game. It's actually a very good game, which I'm glad. I like we talked about 2 weeks ago, Brad. I like watching the good games. I'd rather it be closer, so I'm more intrigued of this game as long as America pulls it out. I don't want to silver is a bust, right?
Yep. I think so.
Yeah. I would totally agree.
I mean, when you have the best players in the NBA and a guy named LeBron James on your team.
If I see Marc Gasol running down the center court, fist pumping as hard as he can because they just won gold, I'm not going to be happy.
I'm turning the TV off.
I'm going to
shatter. Throw a brick through it.
This Akai piece of junk is getting thrown out the window. The Olympics, turn it on. That's all I can say. It's a good game.
It's a great game.
Thanks to Mo again in the first hour. It was
good stuff. I like Mo's takes. One
of
the things I was going to say is one of the things I took away from the Mo interview, which once again he's with 1530 ESPN in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Great guest, Mo Egger. One of the things I took away from him was he put an interesting spin on it. He said, in a way, that the Bengals have upgraded their backfield situation by kind of getting Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, a guy who's more open to the possibility of sharing carries. So now they have kind of a running back by committee. Brian Leonard maybe will be able to be used a little bit more, whereas Cedric Benson, he demanded every single carry. Mm-hmm. Brian Leonard would come in on certain third down situations and because he was such a good receiving back, but Benson demanded all the carries, and now they have the opportunity for maybe Cedric Pierman and Leonard and Green Ellis to all contribute for the Bengals rushing attack. What do you think of that, Brad? You like the Bengals rushing attack heading into the season?
I like it for the most part, but I'm more of a person I want a set running back. I want like a Cedric Benson who demands the ball. I want somebody who's going to demand the ball because then that shows he's wanting to win and he knows how to win, mm-hmm. and he wants to prove that he can carry this team, and he did in a couple games last year when Dalton was struggling.
Oh yeah, Cedric was really good for the Bengals, no question about it.
Like I said, I drafted Benson in my fantasy team, 2-3 years in.
He didn't disappoint.
Didn't disappoint me at all. And one guy that won't disappoint you, Kelly, straight to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline, is our man Carolina Steve. Checking out the race yesterday, a little bit today, left and right turns. We're excited. How you doing?
Just fine, but I want to talk about a couple other things that I talked about. I'm looking forward to the 2016 Olympics because of the fact golf will be introduced as an Olympic sport there.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Well, Carolina, I was talking about this with my friends the other day about how do we think, is it going to be, I don't know if you know, I don't know, is it going to be a singles, just like a normal tournament, everybody for themselves representing the country, or is it going to be a Ryder Cup, President Cup type of event?
I haven't seen, but the amazing thing is they had 3 people in to design the golf course, and I don't know which one got it. It was Annika Sorenstam, Greg Norman, and Jack Nicklaus were the 3 finalists to design the golf course.
3 big-time names there. Kind of, if I had to go with it, I like the Jack Nicklaus type of course. But it's Greg Norman. I didn't know they were actually going to make a whole new course for this. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're going to do that. And the second thing is, you were talking about the greatest baseball player ever. Hands down, Babe Ruth, for the simple reason Barry Bonds or Hank Aaron never held World Series records for pitching. I don't know if y'all remember or not, in reading, but it just so happens that Babe Ruth, when he was with Boston, was actually a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. Great pitcher.
Then he got traded.
He was, and that's the thing. That's the reason I consider him the greatest of all time, because he could have been one of the greatest pitchers, one of the greatest home run hitters. But you got to look, some years when he hit home runs, he hit more home runs than half of the teams combined in pro baseball.
Yeah. I mean, Carol, I agree with you. I think that's all we asked him. We wanted to find out, everybody's opinion, and I'm glad you called and let us know, because I don't think any of us are going to argue that Babe Ruth is the greatest, the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah, but if you go to the modern era, as they call it, and everything, I would have to say the greatest baseball player I ever saw was that played for the Boston Red Sox, was a guy named Carl Yastrzemski. I believe, if I'm correct, he was the last man ever to win the Triple Crown in baseball.
That is correct. I think it was in the 1960s, 1967. Maybe.
Yeah, it's
I had a chance to see him play. He is phenomenal. He was an outfielder, and then they moved him to first base.
Well, let me ask you this personal question. Give me one. Who was the greatest baseball guy you ever got to speak to, in your day? Because I know you've probably met a lot of people. You're a very knowledgeable guy. I just want to know who, the guy that you were most excited to speak with.
Believe it or not, it was when I was working in the minor leagues for the Cincinnati Reds Farm Club. It was a chance to catch Hall of Famer Bob Feller when he appeared there, and the fans came down the stands, and I got a chance to catch him, and I got a chance to talk to him. He was one of the greatest pitchers, and had it not been for World War II, he would have had strikeouts and wins and everything all up through there. He's probably the great. And my second favorite was Smokey Burgess, who was probably the greatest pinch hitter of all time. He was a batting instructor for the Atlanta Braves.
So you worked in the minor leagues with the Reds, Carolina?
Yeah, I worked in their Class A farm club in Shelby, North Carolina. On that team, who made it to the bigs was Eddie Milner and Paul Householder.
Oh. Was that the Carolina Mudcats?
No, it was the Shelby Reds in Shelby, North Carolina. I was going to school at Gardner Webb, and I was their equipment manager.
Wow, that's
very nice.
Learning new stuff about Carolina, some interesting stuff, awesome stuff. We'll have to talk to you a little bit more about that when we got time. I'd like to hear some stories about it. But Carolina, as always, appreciate the call.
Okay, y'all have a good one. Great sports day. We got golf on.
Yep.
We got the Olympic basketball, which we got like a 5-point lead,
yes,
almost going into the fourth quarter. And then we also got today we're going to have Watkins Glen, so it's a couch potatoes dream today. Y'all have a nice day.
Carolina,
take it easy.
You too, my man. Love it.
What a great resource. I mean, I liked how you just gave him an open-ended question and said, Carolina, tell us a little something about your experience with. I think you could have asked him. That is cool.
He works in the minors. I didn't know that. Dude, what has Carolina not done that he hasn't told us? I'm going to have a go. Carolina, you got my number now. I called you over the week. Call me. We're going to set up a round of 18. Because that's 4 hours of knowledgeable information in my brain.
Is he the most interesting man in the world?
He might be.
Ooh, he might be.
He might be. And you know what the most interesting man in the world does? He sits on his couch and watches sports.
And listen to the Weekend Sports Buzz.
And listen to Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM because we're the best. We got a few minutes before this break. I wanted to get into, since we're talking about basketball, I believe America's up 6 or 8 now. Dwight Howard going to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, Dwight. You powdered your way to L.A. In my opinion, yeah, you did it. You did it. And Brad's looking at me like I'm an idiot.
I'm not.
You did it because yes, you had to get Orlando because they suck. I understand this. I understand. the way you did it was it irks me, I guess, just because you basically told every GM, everybody, I'm not going there, I'm not going there, I'm not doing this, not doing that. You were one way. I just don't understand. At least, LeBron, you extended out, but at least you didn't say you're not going there, you're not going to resign. I don't know. What are your all's opinions of
It's different. Yeah, Dwight Howard forced a trade. LeBron James had pending free agency looming, and he kind of drew it up and kind of really manipulated it, got a lot of attention. It was a different situation. I won't say that I think Dwight Howard's handled it any more poorly than LeBron James did. I think Dwight actually wanted to go to the Nets.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, he didn't get exactly what he wanted.
Well, obviously, he's not disappointed by joining Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Ron Artest, Pau Gasol. Or not Pau Gasol.
You wouldn't think so. He's only there for this 1 year.
Yeah, Pau's on the team.
Yeah, Pau, sorry. I was thinking of Bynum. He got traded.
Yeah, Bynum's to the Sixers. And speaking of the Lakers, Jody Meeks. Sharpshooter.
And Earl Clark. And
Jody Meeks, actually.
Are you kidding me?
I actually think Jody Meeks will have a spot on that team. Because when you have a big guy that plays inside like that, like Dwight Howard, what he does is he opens up shots for other guys. I don't care who you are, Hito Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis. Shaq did it with guys like Rick Fox, Derek Fisher. I mean, Jody Meeks, I looked it up, and I'm a big believer in the free throw percentage being an indicator of how good a shooter you are.
Oh, we've had this conversation.
We have had this conversation.
I believe in it heavily. What do you think Jody Meeks' career free throw percentage is in the NBA?
Probably in the high 70s.
Nope.
Maybe low
89%.
Is it?
You didn't even give me a chance to answer.
He's played a lot.
Yeah,
he's shot a lot. No, Jody Meeks is a great shooter. You guys, I mean, I'm sure you believe that, right?
Oh, he does. 54 points.
He's played quite a bit.
We're witnesses.
He's played quite a bit in the NBA, and
he's great. I think he's
a good pickup.
I think he's a great pickup because he can come off the bench and hit some threes. Brad, stop making me laugh. What's going on here? Powell's down.
Well, you guys missed it when I think it was Chris Paul was bringing the ball up, and the guy that was guarding him basically just body checked him, and then
no, it's not.
No.
Oh, he just got poked in the eye by LeBron.
Yeah, that is not going to feel good.
That did not look good. That looked like a Lowry. Go ahead, Kelly.
While at Kentucky, Jody Meeks shot 89% from the free throw line. While in the NBA, he's played in a total of 200 games. He started 114 games in the NBA, and he shoots 88.4% from the line.
I'm not fighting on Jody Meeks.
He's a great shooter. I mean, he's going to really, I think, thrive, and kind of like we saw Smush Parker do a couple years ago. But I think Jody Meeks actually has a little bit more staying power.
Did you just say Smush Parker is thriving?
He was a couple years ago with the Lakers.
He was for 6 months of his Laker career. And
that's what I was saying, yeah. He really came alive when he was playing alongside Kobe.
My next question for you, too, on the Lakers, sticking on it, I got to ask Mark, and I got to say yesterday, obviously I'm pretty sure you're going to agree, Shaq and Kobe or Dwight and Kobe? Brad?
Well, I haven't seen Dwight and Kobe play, but if I had to choose right now, ask me this later, I'm going to take Shaq and Kobe as of right now because I have not seen Dwight.
Okay, say prime. It's not even seeing him. You know Dwight Howard's game. You know how he is. If it was Shaq prime, Dwight prime, Kobe prime, who do you got?
I am taking Shaq prime and Kobe prime
easily
because
Kelly's, you're right there.
Shaq was just he was much more dominant. He had much more. He has, I think, more muscle than.
He's a bigger body overall. Yeah. I mean, Dwight Howard's, if you want to talk muscle, good God, but bigger body overall.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I was getting at.
Tyler will be surprised by this, but I'll actually take the opposite view.
You're going with Dwight?
I'll go with Dwight and Kobe, simply because Dwight is more Bill Russell than Wilt Chamberlain, whereas Shaq is more Wilt Chamberlain than Bill Russell. Dwight rebounds. His first year in the NBA, I believe he led the NBA in rebounding as an 18-year-old. So he rebounds. He doesn't require as much shots. I think the long-term chemistry, if they were both in their prime, I think the long-term chemistry between Dwight and Kobe would have the potential to really have some good
Kobe's on the bench.
Continuity between the two.
Kobe's out in the final 5 minutes of the game. He fouled out. and you could put in Dwight Howard or Shaq to be the go-to guy to score your buckets, you're going to put Dwight Howard in?
No, I certainly did.
I was moving your microphone.
I certainly did not say that, Tyler.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Shaq's a better offensive player,
and he's a better defensive player.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that
combo.
I wouldn't say he's a better defensive player.
Speaking of better defensive and offensive players, I do have a question. What are your all thoughts on how Anthony Davis is going to do this year?
He's going to do great. He's going to be the defensive player of the year.
That is a bold statement.
I mean, he's going to get every block the Hornets get, regardless of their terrible record they may have at the end of the season. Tyson Chandler, do you see Tyson Chandler's defense being better than Anthony Davis'?
I cannot. If you all follow me on Twitter, which is at @SteenKeisko, you will know. Yeah, that's a shameless plug. You will know that I have been on Tyson Chandler. I have been on his butt the entire Olympics because he has played absolutely awful. And it is terrible.
And he was defense player of the year.
Yeah.
I'll recant and say he might not win at Kelly his rookie year just because he's not going to be as physical yet. Year 2, 3 at the most? He'll be getting it almost every year. It'll be like a Tim Duncan.
It'll be close. I mean, there's a lot of.
Why are you laughing and smiling? Tell me another defensive player out there as good as Anthony Davis at potential Anthony Davis.
Dwight Howard.
All righty.
Okay. Moving along.
Was that not
I do have another question.
Sufficient answer?
I just don't. I don't know. Just maybe it's me. I'm just not a Dwight Howard guy anymore.
You're an Anthony Davis guy.
Well, okay. Here's a question for you guys. Probably more for Tyler because I know more about Kentucky basketball than Louisville basketball. But who would you rather have on your team to either come off the bench or start? Would you rather have Anthony Davis or Michael Kidd-Gilchrist?
To be on UK?
No, I'm in the NBA. If you're a GM,
Anthony Davis.
Who would you want to start? Davis or Kidd-Gilchrist?
Anthony Davis.
Who would you take, Brad?
He's a force.
I would take. I'd probably have to go Kidd-Gilchrist.
Wow, that's bold.
I'm going to go with the.
I just don't think Davis has enough strength yet.
Look at Kevin Durant in his face and tell him that.
All right. Well, when you turns
he's going to laugh at you and say, "I don't care about my 180 frame. I'm stroke and I'm wet and I'm so good."
But that's something Davis doesn't have yet.
Yes, that's what you think.
All right.
Davis is a post player, too. Durant is more Reggie Miller.
Well, I mean, that's another reason he doesn't have to get that as much. He's got the 16-footer. You know he's got the 16-footer.
You mean
Davis?
Davis.
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen him.
All he needs.
But there's also going to be, better defenders than a guy playing on Auburn, for instance.
Yeah. It's some personal opinions, which is fine. 384-1450. Go ahead.
I mean, I know Michael Kidd-Gilchrist doesn't have the jump shot yet, but he has a motor.
Yeah,
he has a motor.
If I had to choose a motor, I mean, if it was all down to heart and motor, Anthony Davis, without a doubt,
over Kidd-Gilchrist.
Sorry, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Okay. If it's going, I just said it wrong. Yeah, with motor,
like how I was so on top of you about that.
You were so on top of it. Let's get to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz on real quick before we hit our break because we got our man, one of my favorite guys out there, Handsome Jimmy. How you doing today?
Handsome Jimmy, baby.
Hi, my man. I gotta tell you something. Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard's the best defensive player in the game. Are you kidding me? Please,
I just don't like him. Maybe.
Yeah, no, he's by 4. He ain't even close. I mean, people stayed healthy this year. This past year, he won it 4 straight years on Tyson Handler.
Yeah.
He can't carry his jock strap. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Davis had. What can you say? I'm a diehard Louisville fan. I love them. I can't stand the team up the road. I wish they didn't even exist.
I did not know that about you.
The championship, Davis is going to be a different player in the NBA than when you're college. He's not going to be a Durant. I don't know why. Please don't think he's going to be a Durant either.
No, he's not at all.
He's going to be a good player. But you already think You really think Davis is going to be that elite player? Is he going to be a Shaq? Is he going to be Kobe? Is he going to be a LeBron? Is he going to be that type player as a number 1 pick?
I know.
That Tim Duncan. He ain't going to be in that. He ain't going to be no Hall of Famer.
I'm talking defense.
I know he's talented.
I'm talking about his defensive presence, and he will be one of the best defensive players in the NBA when he is mature. And he will need to add some muscle. I agree with Brad, but. I wasn't talking about overall elite type player. Not at all.
And don't get me wrong. For a guy playing for a team that
I wish they'd get the death penalty. I'm telling you, he's a first-class individual. I mean, he's a. I mean, how can you wish bad success on him? But I mean, it's unfair to think he's going to be this good. I mean, he's going to be good. And then look at the team he's playing with. I mean, how do you feel that he goes with I mean, he's going to be their star. I mean, is that a lot of pressure coming on the young man?
Oh yeah.
Which he's won Player of the Year. He's won. I mean, he broke the shot record at Kentucky for years. I mean, how good is the young man you think going to be?
In my opinion, Handsome, I guess we don't know until he gets there. I mean, he didn't even get to play in the summer league. He's just riding the bench with Team USA, who's up 10 right now in the fourth quarter. I guess we won't know until it gets there. Something that I don't even care really right now about the basketball because I'm all about the Reds, and I know you are too, Handsome.
Oh, let's talk about it. Talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I mean, we lost 5 in a row. Now it didn't matter because the Pirates now lost 3 in a row. We're fine.
I heard you make that point earlier on the show, and you hit it. And right when you said it, I thought, man, you're 100% right. I mean, and I got to tell you, and I really believe this. I mean, when we got our superstar, he's going to be out another 10 days or whatever. But Frazier, I'm like you. He's unreal. Scott, I like Scott Rowland.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got a back issue. Like you said, he can't play no more than 3 games. And I mean, in a row, and you got to set him. So I really believe when Scott comes back, Scott's going to be the third base. But I think this year might be his last because you got a guy like Frazier. He could possibly be rookie of the year.
Yeah, for sure. He's got better stats than Bryce Harper.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, and then I tell you right now, our shortstop, he's unreal. I mean, how can you go wrong with our shortstop? I mean, and this team is just off the chart. And I love how look at the outing we got yesterday. I mean, he's talking about a guy gives up the home run. He played in Chicago yesterday. He pitched real well. And I mean, I'm just excited about this team. But I'll tell you right now, Brandon got a hit yesterday. It was off the chart. They probably didn't even see the ball, but he got a base knock.
Yep, he's back.
I mean,
it's good to see him back.
He even did run it up first thing. I couldn't believe I hit the ball, but I think they'll win today. Then they got a day off. But we got to get Jay Bruce, partner. We got to get Jay Bruce hitting that baseball.
Yeah, I agree.
He goes in these slumps. It's unreal. And Drew Stubbs the same way. He's in a bad slump, right? Even though he got that big double yesterday. I mean, but how do you feel when Bruce? I guess he'll play today, even though we get a left-hander. You get Jay getting hot, but can Jay stay hot for 2 or 3 months? He go only seem like he's hot for like a couple of weeks, then he'll go dead for a month.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's exactly how his career has been. If you go back and look at his career, he started out in the month of April, hotter than hell. And then he kind of cooled off.
May player of the month of baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he cooled off, and then he got hot again, and then he cooled off, and now he's in a 1-for-18 slump. And Dusty said, I'm going to give you a second day off. Clear your mind, go out the next, on the third day, and blast the ball around Wrigley Field. Yeah,
who knows? I mean, Handsome. I mean, I don't know.
Handsome, I got a question for you. Actually,
talk to everybody.
We get into the National League playoffs.
Yes.
You think we should try to choke up a little, use a baseball term, choke up, go to a 3-man rotation with Homer Bailey, Matt Latos, and Johnny Cueto, or do you think we should go just with a 4-man rotation and include Bronson Arroyo in there? What are your feelings about that?
Boy, the way he threw yesterday, man, I mean, how do you keep him out? I mean, you know what I mean? But maybe you do go to the big 3, but I think you got to at least have 4. I mean, you know what I mean, and everything. But I just love this rotation, don't you? I mean,
solid as can be.
The rotation and Homer's probably my favorite. But the big kid we got from San Diego, was that a trade? I mean,
it was.
This big fella gets on the hill, and you talk about respect. He just tearing it up right now, But I got to ask you, being a Reds fan like you are, and I am, and when the big fella comes in the 9th inning, it's the greatest thing in baseball. And I got to tell you something. He's not going to be in the Cy Young race, but it should be because he's a dominant force of the game. He's the best reliever by 4 in the game right now.
He is, I mean, it may be a little premature, but he's arguably having as intimidating of a season as I can remember a closer ever having. You know, you have Eric Gagne, who had the consecutive streak of not blowing a save.
Dodgers, yeah.
But, I mean, almost on like a Nolan Ryan type level, he just strikes fear into. How would you like to go up to bat and look, and I got to try to hit this?
Yeah.
I got to tell you something. I wasn't. I mean, if the manager comes to you, so you got to pitch it. I guess you got to get up, but would you love to ask the manager, Skip, can you go to somebody else? So if you're going to do what I'm going to do, strike out.
If you're going to do it against anyone, you do it against Chapman. He's got to be scary.
Yeah, he's super scary. If we go anywhere else other than Aroldis in the 9th inning, I'm going to drive to where we are and smack whoever did that decision. But I know it's not going to happen. Hanson, we're coming up against the hour. Appreciate the call as always. Talking Reds, I love talking Reds with you.
Always a pleasure, buddy. You have a good rest of the weekend, my man.
You too, dude. I love talking to Hanson about the Reds.
Hanson is a just huge Reds fan. I love it.
All our three here are Reds fans. If we had Hanson on the other side in another room, imagine the type of Red show we could host. That's for Hanson. It's out there now. You know, I mean, a Red show. It's coming on. I mean, playoffs are coming up. Maybe we should do this every Sunday from like 1 to 12 to 1 or something.
It's easy to do when they're leading the division.
It's very easy to cover them when they're winning.
Well, they're going to be winning for a long while now.
But when they lose, all hell breaks loose. You can ask Mo. You can ask Lance.
That's because you live in Cincinnati where you're crazy. You guys are crazy. We know baseball down here.
Yeah. Cincinnati's a very knowledgeable.
Sure.
Yeah. Casual answer, yeah.
No, Cincinnati knows baseball, but they hit the panic button a little quick. I do too, and I've still got some concerns that I'm somewhat tapering because they're winning and they're leading the division, but I'm concerned about the lack of a leadoff hitter, and I'm concerned about the potential for going into a drought offensively. Jay Bruce can just go for a 1-for-18 streak, and then, you know, we just throw out a clunker, and the team sucks offensively.
Since you're on the Reds, one thing I wanted to mention I didn't get to yesterday. I know this happened a week ago, but I'm sure nobody around here talked about it because we are your number one Reds rap source here in the city.
Can't get it anywhere else.
Can't get it anywhere else as good as we can do it. Charlie Sheen, he matched the $50,000 Reds Community Fund.
Love it.
Marty shaved his head for $25. Then they had some sponsors match that. Well, Charlie said, I got 50 G's.
Money ain't a thing.
Money ain't a thing.
Is it turning into where the Reds, they've got Chapman, they've got this excitement, kind of like the Lakers in primetime
like
with
Kentucky,
Jack Nicholson.
Where all the pros just go?
With Jack Nicholson as the Lakers fan, we got Charlie Sheen. I mean, is that what Cincinnati's hanging their hat on?
I'm a big fan.
Charlie
I love it.
has always been a fan of the Reds.
Oh, yeah.
He has.
I mean, if you go in, you search the internet, he will talk about the 1990 team and how he threw a party with them. He won't go into detail, but he will talk about the party.
Oh, my God, let's get Charlie Sheen on to talk Reds. He will do it.
Let's do it.
We're going to have John, you're listening. Email him now. John,
Charlie Sheen at Gmail.
I want to get this out there quick. John Hancock, our Louisville writer for the website, KentuckySports.co, CardyCast.com. He's our man when it comes to booking guests. He got Mo this morning, and in 7 hours, he hooked Mo up just to come on real quick.
Spur of the moment.
John, listen. You got to email Charles. Email Charles right now. Did you see him and his dad? They both were at the game.
Yeah.
Who looks older? Definitely Charlie.
I don't know.
Charlie looked a little bit older.
My question is this. 1990, you're out and about, maybe in Cincinnati, partying, let's say in your late 20s, maybe 30, and you show up to a party, and you sit at a table just to get your party on, and across one side you see Charlie Sheen, the other you see Jose Rio.
Yeah.
What type of party's going on that night?
A good one.
A whole lot of good partying. I would have loved to have been there, and as I'm assuming Kelly definitely would have assumed I'd loved to have been there. One run of baseball, MLB talk. Todd Helton, one of the Colorado Rocky greats of all time. I hate to see it. He's out for the season with hip surgery. I mean, it's not like they're going to make the playoffs anyways.
Yeah, this has been a bust year for the Rockies. So
I mean, when is it usually not?
I think they've won like 46, 47 games this year.
And CeCe Sabathia went to the DL elbow injury. Uh-oh, New York.
Keep feeding them cheeseburgers.
It's a big deal.
We already beat you once in this series. Coming for you again, brother.
Tyler is not scared of the Yankees
I am
at
not
all.
scared of the Yankees. I'm just not. I'm not scared of their pitchers.
As long as Andy Pettitte doesn't pitch, I'll be happy.
Not scared of their pitchers at all. And Bleacher Report. They had put out a good little article, top unathletic MLB players of the past and the present. Kelly, name give me on that.
David Wells.
David Wells. It's loaded.
Boomer is on there.
Boomer has got to be on there.
Boomer is on there.
Is CC on there?
CC is on there too.
Jonathan Broxton.
Is he?
Actually, I think there are.
What about Kruk?
Is Corky Miller on there?
Got to be on there. Shut up, Matt.
Are you looking at the list?
You see, for all our listeners, I do have a bone to pick with Matt here. Matt took his son to a Louisville Bats game. Is my microphone still on? I'm not. I mean,
I can hear you.
Okay, good, because I don't want to get muted for this. Matt took his son to a baseball game. Now, how old is your son?
3.
No, he's 2.5.
He's
yeah, almost
2.5. So they were giving out Corky Miller baseball cards. And, of course, Matt, being the genius that he is, took the card and burned it.
Yep.
When they got home.
It's hanging up right there in front of you, Brad.
The legendary Corky Miller, who has played more games in a Louisville Bats uniform than anyone ever.
I hope Corky is listening right now, and I hope he gives us a call in the next 3 minutes.
Another guy, Dimitri Young.
Is he on there?
He's number 20. Tony Gwynn.
Okay.
Fernando Valenzuela. Crucky, number 16. Bip Roberts, Cincinnati Red.
Okay.
He's kind of odd to me. He seemed pretty athletic. I don't know. There's CC at 14. David Wells, 12.
Who's the guy I'm thinking of? The Hispanic guy
Miguel
who was a
Cabrera, number 11.
reliever for the Reds. What was his name? It was in the late 90s, mid to late 90s.
Oh.
Cecil Fielder, number 10. I'll get.
And then Prince is 8.
Here's the name we heard earlier in the show, Smokey Burgess.
Yeah.
Carolina is number 2. Number 9, the most unathletic MLB player, past and present.
I like how it says
Hector Carrasco.
Prince Fielder, number 8.
Okay.
Mo Vaughn, 7. Number 6, Charlie Cuffield. Number 5,
Kevin
Bob
Mitchell.
Hamlin. Number 4, Sidney Ponson. Remember that?
Good old Sidney Ponson.
Super unathletic.
That wasn't that long ago.
Number 3, the stoner himself, Tim Lincecum. I guess that's why they put him at 3.
What?
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
He's not heavy at all.
Number 2, Jonathan Broxton.
It's not
number 2.
Number 2.
Wow.
It's not a matter of their fat or not. It's like, do they look
number 1
unathletic?
Babe Ruth.
Okay.
Of course.
No.
He's the greatest.
Brad Penny? Is he a big guy?
He wasn't on there, but he's definitely unathletic.
He's a big dude.
I heard Brantley calling a game earlier this season. He was calling it on the radio, and he said, I don't know what size shirt Penny wears, but it is about 2 sizes too small.
That was good. It's been a great show. We appreciate Brad coming down from Ohio. He'll be joining us a lot here on Sundays. And, of course, me and Kelly, 10 to noon every Sunday. Next Sunday, August 19th, you can't miss this show. It's going to be the best show in Louisville in 300 years. Earl Heyman's joining us in studio for the full 2 hours. He's our co-host. We're going to talk Saints, talk his Orange Bowl, talk his boxing championships he's got going. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.